Hello guys, good morning. Today we will be learning about the squash plant. And this is the squash plant. We call it locally as Kalabasa. We will be learning to know about the female and the male flowers or the squash plant. So these are the leaves of the squash plant, and I will show you the difference between the male and the female flowers. Okay, so we will start with identifying the female flower. Okay, so here we found one squash flower. The color is dark yellowy, beautiful, a beautiful flower of squash plant. And this flower is a female flower. You know why? Because in between the branch and the flower, you can see a small fruit of squash. You can see a young fruit of squash. So this definitely a female flower. And this flower, when pollinated by male flower, so it will develop a young fruit of squash. And the difference with the female squash flower and the male squash flower is that the male flower of squash plant has no small young fruit. So again, we found another undeveloped female flower. As you can see, the flower is still closed and it will be open maybe in 1 day or 2 days more. And this is a female flower because we found one young squash fruit attached to the branch, in between the branch and the undeveloped flower. Okay, so this is really a female squash flower, and it will blooms only during in the morning of the day, and in the middle of the day it will finally close its flower. Okay, so beautiful flower for this young squash plant. The matured fruit of squash plant is edible and can be eaten. You can cook it together with other vegetable in your kitchen, and it is delicious and rich in beta carotene and rich in vitamins and minerals and good for our body, especially the elements of beta carotene that is good for our eyes. See, some insects are already coming to this flower so that this can be pollinated by the insects, or you can do it the manual cross pollination. In the absence of insects in your garden, you can do the manual cross pollination so that this young fruit will develop into a matured fruit in due time. Okay, and here we found one undeveloped male flower. You can see the difference between the female and the male squash flower is that male flower has no small young fruit between the branch and the undeveloped flower. So the flower will develop also just like the female flower and will bloom also during the morning of the day and will close in the middle of the day. In my observation, in the middle of the day at around 12 noon, the squash flower will close and definitely will close.